Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Episode Club. Today, we're going to talk about the season finale episodes for season 1 of Harlots, episodes 7 and 8 today. And those two episodes were quite interesting. We learned the fallout of episodes 5 and 6, and we get to see kind of what the early setup is for next season. But joining me today are, I guess, my crew for Harlot. Then we got House of the Conqueror, and we have Braavosi Broadcast. Whoever wants to introduce themselves first, let me do so.
Hey everybody. Sorry, let me turn down my stuff here. I hope everyone is doing well. It's nice to see you guys. I'm happy to be talking about this show every week. I have a good time on this, so glad to be talking about the season finale of season 1. Did I say that right? Yeah. I'm a little sick, so I'm kind
A bit loopy.
of yeah, not firing on all cylinders, but doing my best. Anyways, hi.
Don't worry. Johnny or House of the Conqueror.
Yo, what's up? Happy to be here, of course. Thanks. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Also, if you're ready to talk about cunnies, dead bodies, and extreme esoteric sex murder cults, this is the place for you. So just hang out, chill, cut yourself in the corner, whatever. It's no judgment here. Let's talk about it. Let's do it. If you want me to remove the black bar, you know, give Sasa some money through PayPal.
Oh my gosh, we have no idea what's going on behind that black bar.
Yeah,
House of the Conqueror.
Jesus, Johnny.
He won't even show us his face.
Nope, not today. But we do have some people in the chat. We got some person named Braavosi Broadcast. I don't know who that one is. Along with some guy named House of the Conqueror. Again, don't know who
Look, this is related to the show. You may think not. But I don't have a face because of syphilis ate a hole through it. So go look up some of those pictures if you want. Holy fucking ball sacks. I saw some of that shit on a podcast the other day. It was like a documentary or something. Yeah, just go. I didn't know that syphilis would literally eat a giant hole in your head while you're still walking around, like eat your eyeballs and nose and mouth off. And then, you slowly die just because you banged the wrong whore. What is wrong with the world? I am glad we live. And, yeah, you know what? People say these times are fucked up, but it's better than what we fucking used to have. I'll tell you that much. Just stop complaining. Let's have a fun time. Danny, my bacchiotomy is January 2nd, and don't be telling nobody. I don't like. Hey, you just send me a bunch of money. Don't give me public pity.
Start to GoFundMe.
I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do all that, but yes, I will keep you informed, Mr. Danny McKay. I'll touch you there. Bang bang, man. Bang bang.
Here we go. Peter Griffin also joining us in the chat as well as Rod Damon. So,
also, sorry for not showing my face. I don't feel good either. Okay. Plus, I didn't get a chance to put on makeup. My dick hurts. Just all kind of weird stuff,
You didn't get to put on your wig either.
People are like, what's happening?
Your powdered wig, you didn't get to put that
do you know why they wore powdered wigs? Because they had syphilis and it makes all your hair fall out. Literally, just look this up. Every fucking body had syphilis. So, Miss Scamwell, there should be like a lot, like 500 more Miss Scamwells in the show.
Mm-hmm. They probably are. They're just
on the real.
They're just walking around doing their own.
It'd be a little bit depressing though if you had a bunch of people with syphilis, gonorrhea, and like crabs the size of gray rats running around.
Yeah, the show would be different, Joe, with that going on. But before we do the deep dive, of course, what did you think about these two episodes? What it was like? How, did you think like they obviously ended the show for the season on the right mark, kind of? And almost.
I think.
Oh, And it's like the follow-up question is like I feel like if they didn't have like another season, like if this was like a mini series, that it almost seemed like the way it wrapped up could be considered a good way to end it almost. Because she's like, because how Lucy said,
albeit a little bit goddamn cheesy, but we'll get into that. Go ahead, Erin.
Well, I liked it. I thought it was a good ending. You know, it left room for season 2, obviously.
Mhm.
So I think it set us up for what's coming in season 2. So yeah, we saw the the ending with Charlotte and all of that, which I won't divulge all that quite yet, but with what she's gonna have, what she's getting herself into should be interesting.
Mhm.
Or, never mind. I was just gonna make a really crude joke, and I stopped myself because I should sometimes. Rod damn it, what is up, man? Just love saying your name. Rolls off the tongue, makes me feel good inside. Peter Griffin, glad you're here. Whatever. If y'all got any questions,
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just taking over the show. But honestly, what I thought of these 2 episodes, I thought it was a pretty good ending. Fairly predictable. Luckily, the Irish cock got away for now.
Okay.
I thought he was going to die. That's about the only thing that didn't work out. I thought he was going to die. But then we got a few things happening, honestly. Mrs. Quigley isn't looking so bad. All hell the Quigley bro. Okay. And, well, I mean, she still is a shitbag, but I don't know. I liked, what's her son's name?
Charles.
Yeah, I like kind of Charles growing some nuts finally. That might have been one of my highlights, but Lucy taking her power back. I don't know. It was pretty good, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy's little moment was pretty fun to watch.
Although Lucy is an asshole for telling on people. Like, Lucy fucked up. Harriet fucked up. I mean, it all worked out in the end, but lots of people made some fucked up, selfish decisions. But it was very emotionally heightened as well. So,
Yeah. Well, you're in a tense situation, which we can discuss. So, this episode opens up with obviously the finding of George Howard's body in St. James's River / pond, whatever, and
Which, by the way, I was like, why are you gonna why are you putting his body in the freaking in a pond when you have the gosh dang ocean? You're in London. I mean,
you gotta wash fingerprints off, right? Oh yeah, not invented yet.
It's just stupid that they would do it in somewhere where he would be found like really quickly. It's just like a pond at a park. I don't know. That was kind
Do
of.
you think Lucy's cunny has a particular smell that they had to wash off? Oh my god, that was awful.
Oh
But
God.
never mind. I'm just trying to think of something they had to wash.
Probably no worse than George's wiener.
George's stank dick. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure everyone smelled great back then. The smells were the best part of the world. What the fuck? I am sorry, guys. I am so sorry, everyone. What is wrong with me?
It's okay.
My titties is out.
You're just going buck wild over here. Yeah, so they.
Oh, okay. Howard the Duck. Let me talk a little bit about Howard the Duck. I'm just going off on awful jokes and tangents. But, yeah, man, that's kind of even though I don't like Howard, that's a fucked up way for your body to have to be found. Mm-hmm. Pretty much kind of desecrated, bloated. I mean, what water does to the body is pretty gross. It made old Lord Farquaad almost choke. And, I mean, she did it right next to his house. Lucy brings up, was it Lucy? No, it was Charlotte, I think, that brings up, why the hell are you going to put him right in front of his house? Why wouldn't you just make him disappear? Well, he was last seen here. Well, I mean, he's still last seen there, whether his body's found or not. You need to make it look like he left town or him and Charlotte left town together, something weird. Like, you could have did something, got Charlotte the fuck out of there. But instead, she puts her daughter's life at risk. And I guess I'm just kind of getting into it because this all connects.
Yeah.
And dude, you cannot blame Charlotte for how mad she gets, honestly.
Mhm.
I don't, Miss Wales wasn't, she was trying. She realized how fucked up she was. But hey, if you had that much love for your daughter, you would just say you did it. I'm not going to lie, but there's a bit of.
Well, yeah, she's in a tough position too because Charlotte is constantly feeling like her mom favors Lucy.
Mhm.
And in this situation, it's hard to like argue.
Yeah.
Because Mrs. Wells might not have intentionally done that to Charlotte, but it was more like just to get the heat off of her own back and off of Lucy's back, which are they're in her direct household, and she didn't really think beyond that. And Charlotte's just constantly like the victim of that from Margaret, which is sad.
Yeah, and she had no way of knowing that Charlotte and, whatever you want to call him, Irish private
Daniel
dick.
Mahoney.
Oh yeah, Daniel. I had no way of knowing that they come over there in a scuffle. Then you already have Haxby, who is fucking just has that vendetta, so he's gonna automatically assume it's them. And even if it isn't, we see how the justice system is still used today, but it was more abused back then. If you had money, a little bit of standing, an eyewitness would kill you. An eyewitness can say whatever the fuck they want as long as they have somewhat higher social standard than you, or are just perceived to be more valuable, worthy, anything. All these extenuating factors that no one gets a fair shake, justice wise. He can just make up whatever the hell he wants. And said they come in there soaked in blood, fucking, and then just gotten the rockers had bloodlust in their eyes. Maybe a little bit, but hey, she didn't know that. But also, fucking A, she had to know how closely connected this was to Charlotte and that they weren't doing well. I mean, he come in to get Lucy, so even if Charlotte hadn't have came over there and had the discussion, she probably would have still been at least questioned, followed around, and investigated, and eventually arrested anyway.
Mhm.
So, damn it, Miss Wells. She'll make up for it. Maybe she'll let Charlotte pop a titty in Charlotte's mouth and help her out a little bit.
Oh, geez.
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
Yeah, like the entire situation with the whole finding of his body and stuff, and because this also leads into the fact that Mr. North and Jacob haven't shown home yet after being gone away, but Nancy has been seen obviously going back to her house, so there's that question of what happened to them as well. And that's what also is worried about Margaret. Margaret's more worried about her husband and the boy than like the repercussions that will happen to Charlotte, and that like kind of carries out throughout the last two episodes, because it's like she wants Charlotte to have the keeper and stay with like her keeper being George Howard, but as soon as he's dead, she doesn't really feel like that all the pressure is going to be on Charlotte, especially after the reveal that we get that she said to in front of all of his friends that she was raped by George Howard, and then she shows up at his house with Daniel Marney, the Irish not a pirate, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And Haxby, he's like a hookup bird, he's like scorned by the fact that he had a tryst with Charlotte Wells and it didn't go very well. Yes, it's like
I thought they would all get enraged and bang, but like have a weird threesome, just a really awkward, weird threesome that they never ever got over, and then it hung over the head of the series.
You've
for
been
the
watching
rest,
too much Vikings or Game of Thrones or something.
Ain't no shit in there like
The
that.
Harlots aren't
Vikings
like
ain't that
that.
good. Hey, you just let me come up with my own fan fiction over here. Don't make me come after y'all.
Harlots fan fiction is a dirty, dirty page of the internet, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weird situation, you know. She is, and then Mrs. Wells goes over to Nancy's to try and find them, and Nancy's pissed at her basically about the whole situation. She's just like, you know, if Will, Mr. North, if he left you, good on him, because you're just like, you don't give a shit about anyone. And I think that feeling kind of applies to even Charlotte. Like, Nancy sees the bigger picture, but Nancy's really wise like that, even though she whips men for a living, but she's a wise woman.
I mean, yeah, she whips him into, like, yeah, she understands the psyche, I guess.
Mhm.
But
Well,
yeah,
I mean, Mr. North and her son are missing. You know, since they dropped off the body, they haven't come back. And I mean, you know, I get confused as to why he was gone the whole time. Whether he was trying to, you know, just take the kid and go for safety, or if he was waiting to see what was happening, or if at the same time he was trying to fucking get back Harriet's kids. I am a little bit confused about that. But, you know, take that important phone call while you can. And, you know, because there's definitely far more important things than this awesome show that we're talking about. Okay, Erin? Don't make me
Right.
get so mad at you on air. I'm just kidding. What was I saying? I just had a vibrator in my ear.
Sorry.
It's not. It's okay.
No, I just had,
Oh, no, I'm just giving you shit. That's okay.
I had I have all this background noise. Sorry, but yeah, you know, Mr. North,
Always
like
Coca-Cola.
Mr. North and taking Jacob with him. Yes, like that makes sense. I mean, like, because the other two kids are older and stuff, and like they're saying, if, like, I
The other
think,
two kids are whores.
yeah.
Oh.
And well, and also too, like they said later at the, I think at the end of the first episode, it's like, yeah, if you want to go and tell the magistrate that you killed him and then I killed him, then, and then the rest of us in this house will all just hang because of the fact that we killed George Howard. What's Jacob gonna do? How's he going to live and all of this stuff? So it's like, if Mr. North
Don't
did
go to America.
run away, then I mean, he could go to France if that makes it any better. But I don't think he's going that far. They need Mr. North to stay in the show. But yeah, it's one of
Yeah,
those.
I thought it was pretty good because you were wondering what he was doing the whole time. You know, not Margaret, but yeah, Margaret is assuming, you know, that he's just left because of what she's done, that he's that mad at her. I don't think it was that simple. And you know, even going to, I guess I don't want to jump too far ahead because then we'll get into the kids and stuff. But I guess we'll leave it right there for now. He's missing.
Mhm.
We don't know what the hell's going on. Last time we seen him, he dropped off that damn body.
Yeah, and Jacob goes, "Is he sleeping?"
Yes, he's sleeping. He's sleeping with the fishes,
Yeah,
as they'll say 100 years from now.
sleeping with the fishes. Yeah, and because oh, Lucy's all just like going with her mother and making sure that she stays with her mother, and Nancy's like, no. But then you can't like listen to this conversation. What did she say?
Oh no,
Oh, because,
Nancy's pissed because she gave up in Emily Lacey. You know,
yeah.
like Margaret's making a lot of decisions. She even tells her, Nancy tells her right here that, you know, you're the person you didn't want to become. You just don't have the money or the standing yet. You know, you've already became everything you've despised the whole time. She definitely needed this reality check, and this is where we get the plan, kind of, to get Emily Lacey back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
you
mean, it
get.
kind of falls into her lap with what happens. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So then Margaret shows up and she tells the girls that this is going to be the story that we tell people when you get questioned if you get stopped in the streets by the watch, the Night's Watch. That always gets me laughing. That George stopped by for the night. He got his way. He got drunk, and then he left in the carriage. And there's a big kerfuffle, big argument that kind of breaks out, and Fanny wants to speak to Margaret about the fact that she's having a baby, and Harriet wants to talk about getting her children back, but there's no sense of actually this conversation never actually happens, and it just makes Margaret go crazy.
Yeah, when we have a knock at the door then too, and
Yeah, because it's
it ends up being
Charlotte that shows up,
yeah, Charlotte shows up.
and she basically says that you're a horrible mother because you basically let me to die. You've only thought about Lucy in this situation and yourself, and not about me. Um, and yeah, it's like,
And yeah, I mean, like before this too,
mhm,
Miss Quigley had been trying to get Charlotte out. She saw this
mhm,
as an opportunity to get at the one thing that Mrs. Wells holds so dear, which is Charlotte. And I think she
mhm,
knows that Charlotte's the actual favorite. That's what's the ironic thing here. She's the firstborn. She actually saw her born. We find out, and she takes her
mhm,
in. Now, Charlotte's, we find out later Charlotte's not not necessarily doing this out of the goodness of her heart, but she doesn't have much choice as well. She's kind of beholden to her for the time, and I think it works out for her and Miss Quigley at the same time because Charlotte does want to get back at her mother. She doesn't know that her mother tried to get her out, even though there's nothing her mom can do, but she did, you know, um, get Emily Lacey out and kind of get herself in a standing of picking up young ladies to be killed, young virgins to be
mhm.
killed for this crazy esoteric sex virgin killing cult. You know,
Yeah.
if that's enough adjectives for you. Attila Angel, it's okay to be late. This time, it's all right. Next time, you got to pay me some money. But yeah, Miss Quigley, it's just I don't know. She slips up a little bit, but
Mhm,
it's this mainly for her son that's in love with Emily Lacey and doesn't really know what's going on. But he walks into something right here, doesn't he? And he basically lies. I don't know. He is horrible at lying, but he gets away with it right here and tells old buddy that oh, I'll watch her. He's lucky that that guy wasn't someone who participated in that as well.
mhm.
Even later, we find out that he didn't want to participate in it, but he wanted a seat at the table with the Spartans. He
Yeah.
wanted to see the devil he was playing with, basically.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, he didn't get to see him. He got to see the knife that stabbed him. I think Ollie killed him. That's who I think killed him. But yeah, we're talking
Who,
about Miss
the
Quigley.
magistrate?
Yeah, that was a joke.
I was about to say, I was like,
Ollie.
they
Ollie
can be.
stabbed him in the dark in a
Oh,
non-sexual manner. But
okay. I was like,
uh,
what?
Erin, a Braavosi broadcast, she had to take an important business call. It was corporate, making money for the man.
It's the faceless man.
She's
They,
like, what
they
are
call
you talking about? No, we were talking about Miss Quigley and, what happened with Emily Lacey and Miss Quigley's son kind of coming there. It's fucking hilarious, though, too. But go ahead. Anything you
Um,
want to say about that stuff?
well, yeah, it's kind of interesting. So basically, you're talking about when Emily Lacey comes back to the house.
Not yet. Before, when Emily Lacey's
Oh,
still chained up, and then,
Because
what's
when
his
Charlotte,
name?
oh,
after Harriet,
yeah,
basically like, can you pay for my kids? And she's like, fuck off. And then
yeah.
Charlotte shows up the first time. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, they go to the house and to where she's chained up, and basically Lydia is like taunting her, which is really horrific because she's got Emily terrified. You can tell she's just, she's hyperventilating, she's just, she's terrified, and she's telling her the wolves are coming. She's like cleaning her up, and it's just all very like sinister. But uh then when she leaves, Charles is kind of watching. He's been following her, and so he kind of,
Mommy.
it's interesting for him because he's his mom's been lying to him. She said like, "Oh, don't worry about Emily. Let's forget." Or he says to her, "Let's forget that she ever existed." And that's in the last episode, and uh so and Mrs. Quigley, she's not gonna forget. Somebody that tries to kill your kid, you're not just gonna move on and forget about them. You're gonna track them down and hurt them maliciously. So,
Mhm.
but even though Charles is like a grown man, she should like let him handle his own affairs. And I don't know, he learned a lot about his mom when he followed her over there, and he's got feelings for Emily. And so, he got his chance. His thing with Emily is that he gets this repeated opportunity to sort of man up, and actually act like a man, whereas his mom just constantly treats him like a baby. So Emily sees that, and she's using it to her advantage. And Charles is just kind of too stupid to see it, but that's all right. Like, he'll figure it out maybe. But yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Charles personally will become a harlot in the end and be the best harlot of them all. He has probably the softest vagina, and we'll see that displayed in later seasons. But it was pretty funny when he got the shit beat out of him by who was it? Fucking that came in there and beat the living hell out of him, and it was Untyne. Emily Lacey. Damn it, who beat the shit out of him?
Oh, was it Nancy?
Well, Emily
I
punched
think it
him in
was.
the face when he untied her, which was
Well, yeah.
rather funny, I
Yeah.
thought.
I think it was Nancy. She's beating him with a fucking stick or something.
Yeah, that's what you normally
Yeah,
say.
Nancy.
What the
Yeah,
fuck are
Nancy
you
comes
doing?
in on the cut too. Yeah.
I thought he was helping his mom. But anyways,
Mhm.
They get taken out of there. This kind of gets Miss Quigley put in a situation where she doesn't have necessarily the upper hand anymore, and it gives Margaret a chance to kind of move in here, and this gives her an opportunity to uh, do something to try to get her daughter out, or at least she thinks that's what she's doing. It ends up getting turned around again on her, but she's being used at this point. And like I said earlier, Charlotte never really knew her mom was doing all of this to try to get her out. So even you know, in a roundabout way, but whatever. And when you were gone, Erin, I did say that I was talking about Miss Quigley and how, she saw Charlotte being born and how she knows that Charlotte's the actual favorite child. That it's that ironic that Charlotte is the actual favorite, even though she doesn't feel like it. And yeah, that's about it. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I feel like I
You're
done
muted, by
skipped
the way.
over a bunch of shit.
If you're meaning to say something, you're muted, Erin.
Sorry. Charlotte is my bad. So she's like the golden child. She is like, she's the oldest, so she's kind of expected to um be able to handle everything that's thrown her way without any trouble, and um to just be, to handle it, to be the oldest. I mean, I can understand that. I'm the oldest, so it's just kind of
Lead by
you,
example.
yeah, and you just kind of, you just deal with it because there's others that are younger than you that you kind of have to, yeah, set the example for, and that kind of thing. So
I
Charlotte's
showed
always
my
doing that.
younger siblings what not to do. That's how I live my life. That's the rule. Okay. Just do the
Well,
opposite of
we all
me, and
have
you will
our
be
moments.
super successful. You'll be a great person. My brother did that. My God, that man is successful. Got everything going for him, and I am super proud of my brother. So do as I would not do. That is the answer to your question.
Or something like that.
Some.
It's like the "What would Jesus do" bracelets. Be the "What would Johnny do?" Do the opposite.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, yeah, we get and we also get that Amelia Stanwell. She saw the fact that Charlotte has been taken away, and eventually Daniel Marney gets arrested for the murder of George Howard, and then they basically get thrown into the cells together. Um, and but before then, there's the whole pressure of, well, you Charlotte can be free as long as you basically say that it was Daniel's basically doing that, this whole situation that was his fault, and you can blame him, and then you'll be free. And she obviously says no because she still has like feelings for him, like because she in some way likes him. We don't obviously know until the next episode how deep or shallow it might actually be. Um, but also the whole time when they're in the jail, he basically talks about how this is why me and my siblings are never within, was it 100 miles from each other, because someone's always going to get in trouble, and such. And it makes him have like this sappy story. Um, and yeah, it's one of those situations where you're like, Jesus. um, and yeah, like cause you kind of see how this whole this relationship kind of plays out within the next episode as well. Charlotte obviously goes. We can kind of talk about it. Charlotte ends up going free by Miss Quigley, and her whatever. I think it's like her testimony, which is not actually testimony. And Daniel Marney gets freed by George Howard's widow, which is actually quite funny how she shows up in episode 8. And when Charlotte is at the house and she goes, "What are you doing here?" And they have their whole conversation again. I mean, she's like, "I'm free of him," which means I'm free from you too. So it means I can keep all my money. That scene was quite funny.
Well, that was an interesting scene. Yeah. So basically Charlotte gets set free by Mrs. Quigley, which is weird and ironic. And then so she's trying to get Daniel set free, and she I don't know why, I can't remember why she even initially goes back to the house. I don't know if she is going with the mindset of the wife, or she's going to try and get help from the wife, or if she's just going to tell Haxby to kind of kiss her ass sort of thing. But
she goes to the house to basically beg Haxby to take back his claims that he saw Charlotte and Marnie the night that George died, and that they were covered in blood. That's basically why she goes there again in episode 8.
And so the wife hears them kind of arguing back and forth, and she comes around, and her and Charlotte sort of have that conversation, and Charlotte's just basically like, "Well, I need your help," like, and then the wife is like, "How did my husband die?" And Charlotte's like,
"Thieves.
I don't know, maybe it was villains, like they say.
Yeah.
Like, both of the women are happy that he's dead, because he was kind of a monster. Like, he was not a good guy. He was terrible to his wife. He was terrible to Charlotte. And yeah, it's like he was an obnoxious prick. And so I think that
how dare you? That was a a cherub of a man. That
Wow.
angelic soul will
Great.
be missed forever and
Especially in
remembered.
those pink pants that he died in.
I resent your statements. That man,
Pink is though a
the tall
theme.
drink of a piece of shit.
So
I mean, what?
pink is the theme of this show. So um yeah, like
But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, she was like, I'm free. And you could see the like joy in her face that she was happy because, yeah, now her money is her own. She doesn't have to live under the rule of a man. And that's like an opportune moment for a woman in those times because, people are going to want to remarry her and try and marry her off. But she's the kind of woman, she's obviously intelligent and she had a poor enough experience with her first husband that she learned. So I doubt she's gonna remarry. She's probably just gonna be like a badass,
Can I
widow for the rest of
say
her days.
something really quick? That I am a prophet because the first episode of this series I called him Howard the Duck. And the duck died floating in water.
He's a witch because he floated.
I'm a witch.
like that.
You're a druid.
Impossible. I'll never tell my secrets though.
Howard the Duck. Yeah, floating in the St. James's Park. Yeah, the
Howard the
wife.
Duck.
I mean, she's happy, like you said, that she doesn't have to deal with his idiotic behavior anymore, because his maturity level was far lower than hers. Yeah, and what did he call her? She's like a house plant because she's so hot or something like that. Like
You think George Howard was a millennial?
probably.
I'm so assholeish. Hey Casey, Miss House Lorebridge, go check out that lore of the House Lorebridge. If you haven't clicked on that face, go do it. Casey with her Black Hearts. Black Heart special. Only on House of the Conqueror. Lady Stoneheart.
Lady Stoneheart. Yeah, the
I need
whole
to do like a sheepskin condoms commercial.
oh Jesus. But maybe. Yeah, they go obviously like that whole situation happens and she's like, all right, I'll testify for Daniel Marney, and he ends up her testimony I guess is good enough that he goes free. And it's like because she's obviously not there when Charlotte is not there when George's wife goes to testify. So that when she sees that interaction, it's like she gives this weird look of like him taking her to the carriage, and she's just like, but then she's also like teary at the same time. It's like she knows she has to let him go, but he loves her so much. Because earlier in episode 7, he's like, "Where are you going?" Because she's like starting to get dressed, and he's like, "I'll go, you stay, and then we could go to America," which would have been so much easier. But also at the same time, the storyline would have been so different. I'm probably moving forward anyway.
He even says that to her later. He's like, "Why couldn't you have just stayed in the room?" Because she really screws them both over when she leaves, but she can't. Her lifestyle has, into like what's the word I'm trying to think? It's like it's put in her mind that men can't be trusted. She even says to him, she's like, "Would you go to the house and tell me true what you find?" And he's like, haven't I done enough to prove that you can trust me? But she's just, in her line of work, she knows that men say things to get what they want, sort of thing.
Well, also I think it's that she knows she can't let herself love. Even before she decides to do what she did, do whatever plan she's got hatched for Miss Quigley, which is basically to bring her down. I think she also, this was stated, she stated this, that, love is nothing to her. You can fall in love or whatever, but you can't, there's nothing more you can do than some kind of passing fancy because her life just doesn't constitute anything anything of that nature. It just can't really happen. Not for her to be successful, not for her to be able to cope with everyday life. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, you want to talk about compartmentalizing emotions? Fucking A, man. This is the epitome of it right here. Like, she loves him.
Hmm.
She would give, she would give her life for him. But,
Mhm.
you know, this big scare, now he's safe, she's safe, but they thought they were gonna die. That fucking changes how you look at the world. That changes everything. Near death experiences change everything. Maybe she wasn't almost close to it yet, but she thought she was gonna die. So yeah, I think this puts in perspective and gives her goals. She knows a little. It's a little more prevalent now that you're not immortal, that you don't know how much time you have on this earth. So if you got some shit you need to take care of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was kind of able
Words to
to,
live by.
well, she's kind of able to see her family for their true colors, like her mom especially for her true colors, and so that kind of helped shape her decision, I'm sure.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. And then there's kind of the integration again of Lord Fallon showing up in his conversations with Lord Connolith in the gambling house, where they talk about procuring virgins and how he wants to have a seat at the table. And then Fallon basically goes, run away, little doggy. Um, but then he has to obviously have concrete information, because he's not wanting to play games, which we find out in episode 8 what actually kind of is the result of this. Lord Fallon is obviously going to be our big character in season 2, probably into season 3 as well. And it'll be quite interesting um, to see how this character plays out, because, and I can see why they had to get rid of George Howard um, early on in this show, so that they could have obviously the crazy and scary Fallon that's being played out in this. And but yeah, what do you think about Lord Fallon being like his own lurking in the shadows, and then especially kind of what happens at the end of
Mister.
near the end of episode 8?
Well, I mean, Lord Fallon in general is the only one we know of that's in this Spartans, this group of crazy motherfuckers that are just killing everyone, a killing cult. Who knows how big they'll grow and how out of hand they'll get. This started off just with some torture and molestation or whatever, for lack of a better word, and then it turned into a murder cult. And, these are really people of high society. There's got to be people that run, uh, their world, as
Mm-hmm.
you see it. These are the leaders of the Illuminati, so to speak. You could probably equate them to that: Illuminati,
Yeah.
Freemasons, Hellfire Club. That's what I was thinking of. That Benjamin Franklin was in Europe. The Hellfire Club was a big sex orgy cult club that had it in some caves. I think it was the Hellfire Caves, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pretty good because we have some subterfuge. Quigley later as well. Like, what's his face? I can never remember everybody's name, but he's got to procure another virgin, right?
Give
Well,
her cuddleth.
while he's doing this, and you know, and they're talking about this, Miss Quigley goes in there, and because he had kind of threatened her earlier and didn't he's not playing the game with her. He's been a little bit rude. They've been doing shit for like 20-25 years now. So she went behind his back to the only person she knows, the only name he has given her, which is Lord Fallon, and tells him, your next girl is going to be a setup. she had no way of knowing it's actually going to be a setup. It actually wasn't going to be a setup. But thank goodness Margaret couldn't go through with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she offers up Amelia Stanwell as the victim.
I thought it was Scamwell. Like they're good at
Scanwell. I
scamming.
don't know. I think it's
Scam
Scanwell.
artists.
Because he says that that's the only way that she can get out of being
Erin looks like she's in
persecuted
pain.
for the death of George Howard is that if she is able to have a girl in that one house show up, that it'll be swept under the rug. This whole thing, and the not easy target, but one of the
Hey, that's what I said. They didn't kill the first girl.
Yeah.
It was just a molestation group.
And obviously they have to stand up. And yeah, he goes and obviously tries to take Amelia away, but he gets stabbed by Lord Fallon in the chest. So that's quite interesting that this man is just likes to kill people. I wonder who's gonna kill next. That's the big thing.
Yeah, he's doing, it's an interesting power play, and Justice Cunliffe was they were just using him while they could, and then they were never planning on letting him into their group. So as soon as he sort of became useless to them, that was that, and he knew too much, so it was kind of meant to be that he was going to die. But it all really happened in a very climactic moment, so that was kind of a cool scene, because he had convinced Margaret he basically used Margaret and told her that her charges, or the charges against her daughters, would be dropped if she could get this girl. And
also,
she
she was set
it.
up by Scamwell as well. Yep.
Yeah, because it's for information.
Margaret was, because she what's her name, got conned into going by Quigley down there to confessing that she saw him leaving dead.
Yeah.
Amelia Scandal.
It was a big old clusterfuck.
Yeah, it was like I would say love triangle, except for it was more like just a weird communication triangle between those
broken telephone.
Those people.
Hey.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it played out well because there were a lot of elements going on, and then it all just kind of culminated into one moment. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I want to apologize for being an asshole to Tila Angel. Love you, Tila.
It's okay. Yeah, and
I'm sorry for saying molestation cult.
There was.
That was horrible of me.
The kind of the last-ish storyline, which is not even real. It's like kind of like a throwaway. It's for us to get more information about the guy that we all know as Pip, but I think his name is Rastalus, I believe. And yeah, how someone that he loves is sick, but he can't take care of them, and it's basically this whole thing of like, I don't have enough money, and then eventually he goes to Quigley with the information, and she's like, boy, I would have paid 3 times the amount of that much money for that information. You just give it up very easily, the money or that information for a couple coins. Like,
too bad he'll still have to smother him with a pillow to kill his lover. I don't know. Just a thought that popped in my head. I don't know why. My God, I'm a dark and morbid piece of shit.
It's okay.
Murder.
But yeah. And yeah, like that story, I guess it's just to get us to better understand that character, but also at the same time, it's like that's such a just a meh storyline almost. It makes you go,
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about Harriet stuff
oh
too
yeah,
first, but yeah. Oh my God. Okay. I mean, yeah. Whatever. Well, that's gonna play out later. She knows about Lord Fallon because Pitt was jerking off in the corner and he saw Lord Fallon go around the corner. That's what happens when you got somebody watching. Also, I don't know about you, but my gosh, like, okay. I have empathy. I feel for Harriet. I want her to get her kids back. She's already asked Mr. North to help her. He has agreed. Okay? Nobody knows where he is. Put two and two together, motherfucker. You asked him to help you. He's not around. What do you think he's doing? He's probably trying to help you, okay? All right? So
yeah.
what I need you to do is chill the fuck out and
Do
stop
your
making a
job.
bad situation worse. I'm gonna fucking tell on you if you don't give me that money. Well, you're lucky she ain't that mean of a person because she could just kill you too, man. But no, she takes you in, helps you out. She didn't even have to like give you a roof over your head at this point,
Nope.
but she's doing everything she can do.
Okay.
Um,
Erin will be right
and
back.
yeah, it freaked me out, guys. No, and she has just been understandably worried. She's got to get those kids back, but you got to think about shit sometimes, And she'd been thinking about doing this. This wasn't even like a spur of the moment thing. She'd been thinking about this because after she didn't get a chance to talk to her, I guess, she just was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell, and she worked herself up to this, and it's not a good moment. I think it's gonna come back and bite her in the ass even more now.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those situations where it's like, okay, because you said that, now it's just gonna be one of those situations where it's like, yeah, gonna get kicked out. But yeah, the fact that how she's like, I need to ask you about to get my kids back, and it's like you could have picked any other time than the fact that they have to basically run from the watch, the night's watch, to
Oh, and we can't forget to talk about Fanny, but keep going.
they're trying to. We're basically all on the run from the night's watch. For the murder of George Howard. So why pick now to talk about your kids?
Can I say first off, and since Erin's back, how's your lagging face? Is it okay? Okay, that's fine. Don't
I
answer
don't know
me.
what the deal is. It looks, I can hear you. I just can't hear you well is the only thing. So I don't know why it looks fine. I can see you guys on on my computer, but I don't know.
You
It
can't
just
hear
feels
me
more like it.
still?
So anyways,
Can
Now
you hear me
she's
now?
yeah,
Check one,
yeah, I
two,
can hear
one,
you
two,
now.
three. Okay. How bad did Harriet piss you off? I kind of went on this crazy diatribe about what the fuck is wrong with you. She's been helping you the whole time. Didn't you ask Mr.
Well,
North to help your kids? Where the fuck do you think he is? Oh, he's missing. I'll never see him again. Oh, no, maybe he actually's going to do what he said, fucker, because everybody here has been doing what they're going to say, you motherfucker. They've been giving you a house. They
listen,
gave you a job. They
listen,
gave you all kinds of stuff. They've been saying yes
Johnny.
to everything you asked. Everything you asked, they said yes. And then you're going to be like, fuck you. I'm going to blackmail you, you bitch. Anyways, okay, sorry.
Anyways, so Harriet's priorities
Don't
are
tell me.
her children, and that's been her priority for the whole thing. Like she wouldn't be whoring herself if it wasn't for her children. She's trying to make that money for her children. So, and she knows that they're on a schedule because I'm pretty sure what's his face said that he was leaving in like 2 days or something like that. So, um Mr. North has been the only person that said that he would help her, so she's reliant upon him. And then he didn't come home. It's the last day her
Hold
children are supposed to
on.
be there. So
Margaret
I
already
know
tried to
Mrs. Wells
buy
has a
them.
million other things going on, but she needs that information, and she tried to handle it as delicately as she could. And Mrs. Wells just keeps kind of fucking her off, and I mean, I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing if I was Harriet. It gets to a certain
How
point
is
where
she
if you're
fucking
that
her
stressed,
off?
then,
I'm gonna give you all the money I have in the entire house, all my life
well,
savings,
she
because
ignored
that's
her
not what we
several
agreed
times.
to.
she ignored her several times when she was trying to ask for help. And then Mrs. Wells'
No,
husband
Charlotte showed up.
it had said that he would help her. So, I mean, she's just trying to figure that out. She's on a limited time schedule. She wouldn't be bothering her if those kids weren't, you know, if
She
they're
didn't
if
bother
what's his
her. She
face wasn't
threatened
trying
her
to.
and her family with death.
I
For
mean, I
sure
would do it
death.
for my children. I would threaten
That's
anyone
that's fine,
with
but you're
death
not
if
gonna
they
get your
fucking
children back
messed
like
with
that
my
in the long
family or my
run.
kids.
Okay, if she really thought she was that bad, she could have just killed her as well. Okay, all right, go ahead,
Well,
fine.
No,
You
she's
could
just
do. You
using
can
what
be, and
leverage she had.
yeah,
She was just playing what
doesn't
cards she
matter.
had. She
You can
had
be evil
very
for your
little.
kids.
Harriet has
It's all
little.
good.
She's got like she's got no cards to play. She's got no support. She's got no family or friends. Her husband's dead. You know,
No
her kids
family
are
or friends.
taken
Good
and being
gracious! I
threatened to
thought
be
someone
put in
took her in
slavery.
and gave her a
She's
roof
playing
and been
whatever
her
cards she
friend.
got. You're annoying me.
But how is she? Like, if she has no friends, she would be living on the street.
yeah.
There's she's
Right,
not
but
understanding. She's putting stuff at risk.
that's what
She's
she
risking
says.
her
She would
kids more
rather
than she
live on the
thinks.
streets as long as she has her kids. She's going to do whatever she can while, you know, she has a roof over her head to make money to, you know, get the kids, I don't know, do what she can for them or try and get them. But she said, even like, I even think she says to Mrs. Wells after the fact, you know, when she's giving her money back and stuff, she's like, I'm sure she's not going to want me back in the house. Can you blame her? But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, and she's being a bit sassy too. She was just like, yeah, when
And
they
one, he said he'd never buy him back. Let her buy him back. So what's she supposed to do? Yeah, I give you all the money for what he said he was going to do, but he's already renegotiated the price and said he wouldn't do it twice. What makes you think he's actually going to let you buy them back? It's not going to happen. She's not. Just never mind. She's not thinking
you
right.
know,
She's not thinking right, and she's making bad decisions that put her kids more at risk.
but I mean, she got him back, so
She didn't. Mr. North
I
did
don't
that
think
shit.
what risks could she have been doing? I mean, she got down there and she was lucky enough that Mr. North did hold up his word and he was down there already waiting for him. I mean, if that had not have been the case, then yeah, I might agree with you, Johnny, that she might have not been making the smartest decisions. But at the same time, like, I would probably do the same thing, you know. That was her only like cards to play, and she is fine with living on the streets as long as she has her kids. And once those kids are on that ship, there's nothing she can do. There's absolutely nothing that she can do because she can't go to America and try and like rescue them or something.
Well, what happens when you
They
get your kids
would be
back?
slaves, and then she would be a slave too.
Like Otila said, you bite the hand that feeds you. Now you're homeless with your kids, and then there you are putting your kids at risk of death. There's a lot of situations that you can go into, but it's all hypothetical. So emotions are high at play. I'm not saying I don't understand what she's doing. I'm saying it pisses me off.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're just like, oh no. But
I don't care. I'm done talking forever. I'm leaving now.
no.
Don't mess with the mama bear. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, like, I mean, I get where, yeah, like, I can get like from the parental perspective, but I can also see that it's the wrong time to be mentioning this, and especially because I think she said that she was going to threaten, like, if she wasn't going to get her kids back, to go to the magistrate and basically like explain what had actually happened. So it's like one of those things where it's like,
oh yeah, that's my deal. Also, the magistrate, she don't think about it, man. Like, she's gonna get targeted as well in this. Like, if she goes and tells them she was in the house, she's still gonna be complicit. She has no standing and nothing but leverage used against her. So, I mean, it's probably just a bluff, if I'm being honest. Because she's not she thought about doing it for a while. She built herself up to it. But she didn't really think it too, because what's the magistrate gonna do? Get her kids back for her for telling them about this? Like, oh, who the fuck are you? No, thank you for telling me about this. I'm gonna lock you up too.
Especially
you know what I mean? That's basically what's gonna happen.
Because also too, like she may be free, but she's also not like Mr. North, where he's like an Englishman and whatever. It's like he
Even
can
Mr.
still go
North
back.
has a hard time.
Yeah, so it'll be like one of those situations where he may believe her for a moment, but he has to question her credibility as well. Yeah, and then obviously we, like Johnny says, we also have to talk about Fanny as well, who in the last episode found out that she's not just pregnant, but that her baby is basically about to be born. And at the end of episode 7, she goes into labor.
I was
And
just that water when her water broke. I got so hungry. I was just I gained an appetite instead of losing one. That was one of the most realistic breaking scenes I've ever seen though in any type of film.
Well, before her water breaks, also there is that scene between her and Mr. Armitage where she's telling him.
Who let me say that guy's got a banging body. I ain't even gay. But
he
he
looks
works
pretty
out.
good for probably being like,
He's
a
we call them
35-year-old
muscle
man.
hamsters. We call them muscle hamsters.
yeah,
No,
well,
he looks
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. And
He's got
because
nice strong arms. But yeah, she has that scene with him where she tells him that she's pregnant, which is really like funny because like she's already mid HJ. She's like, by the way,
like I'm having a baby, and he's like, just stop.
Yeah, he's like, you just watch his face. He's like,
You know what he said
But it's
though?
kind
He
of
said his wife had kids and that killed her fucking soul. That's why he comes to the brothel so he can remember what his wife used to fucking be like. I was like, holy balls. Your wife must be the devil or something. Because something's going on.
I think he says even that she's careworn from birthing and burying babies or something like.
Yeah, it could be like postpartum plus also
infant death and
so like okay, something I was hearing like people don't think about it. They think people live longer today, and they may live a few years on average. No, but you still had really old fucking people all the time. But infants and kids died. The infant mortality rate was huge, and this is why the life expectancy was down. A lot of people think people just lived to 35 and looked like they were 80 and died, but no, there were people living to 100. I was just throwing that out there because I find it kind of interesting that it's just because of all the infant mortality rate. That can ruin anybody. Shit, that's probably ruined him some. That's why he's in a fucking whorehouse. You know what I mean? So.
Well, it's pretty commonplace at that time, but I mean, I thought it was kind of, I don't know if I guess it's kind of sweet. I mean, at least he's not, like he said, he's like most men come to the brothel to forget about their wives. I come to remember how mine used to be. And he's in there, he's not going there to bang like a bunch of different whores. He goes to see Fanny every single time. And Fanny's like a big fine woman. So like, he's not in there just chasing tail. He's going there for like a specific reason, which is like kind of sad, but also kind of sweet. Like I don't know.
I mean, it's also asshole-ish because he's like, well, now you're gonna have a baby, so bye.
Yeah, that was kind of sad too. He was like, well,
kind of sad.
The world's
he's a
a
dickhead
rough
for
place
that
for
one,
mothers,
okay?
and ain't that
You can't know it's mine, you
like,
bitch. I'm gone. Let's.
No,
he said it more
nobody gives
eloquently.
a shit if you're a mother. I'll tell you that much. That's the kind
That's not true.
It is a rough world out there.
That is not true.
That it is.
Not
true.
everybody
I mean,
has secret pregnancies and one muscle hamster that they please all the time. Okay.
muscle hamster.
There are many people out here who appreciate moms all over the world, me being one of them. And you just stop being so harsh on yourself because the people that don't appreciate moms can fuck off and go choke on the largest phallus known to mankind, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And like Fanny, she's dealing with a lot because she knows too that if the fact that she's having a baby means her time is ticking, not only for this baby but also to stay in the Wells house. And yeah, it's just like, dang it. And then obviously at the beginning of this episode, or near the beginning of the episode, is you see her actually, or at the end of the episode, you start seeing her going into labor and like really intense versions of this labor. And then in the next episode, she has her baby, and I believe I don't think they give the name yet, or did they? Can't remember.
Future harlot in training.
But it's a little girl. It's a girl.
It's a future harlot. Come on, everyone,
the
come
little-
bite your office lights. Let's raise up right. Let's get it to at least what did we get, Lucy? What? No, where was Charlotte? She was 12. Okay, we got 12 years to plan. Fucking
Jesus.
weirdos.
Well, and
Better-
the harsh part
You better
about
run.
that is Mrs. Wells. Like, Mrs. Wells is dealing with all of her crazy crap that she's got going on. And then that's the other interesting thing. So Harriet, she did speak up and get a chance to say something to Mrs. Wells, but Fanny never got a chance yet. And that was what she kept trying to do. She kept being like, Mrs. Wells, I need to talk to you. Mrs.
And
Wells,
no
I need to talk to
babies
you.
in the house.
And
That's a
yeah,
rule.
so then like she didn't get a chance to talk to her, and then when she finally has the baby, and then Mrs. Wells like comes around the corner and sees her, she just has this like a really, that was like harsh. She's like, this isn't a nursery kind of thing, the rules. And Mrs. Wells has her own crap she's dealing with. So like, I don't
Guys,
think
there's a baby
day,
in this dumpster.
I don't think on a normal day that would have been her response, but it was. They caught her at a bad time, so it was, not.
Yeah, it's like all of this is coming in at like to a head at one moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Y'all remember in Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they found the dumpster baby?
Yes.
I just had to bring this up for context so y'all don't think I'm just talking about dumpster babies out of nowhere. Okay. So.
Yeah. And what was it? Yeah, like because during that also when Fanny was in labor, Lucy has a conversation with her mom, and she's like, "Well, because half these girls aren't doing their job. Do you want me to do because I can do my job." And her mom's like, "No," and then her mom just like yells at her to leave. Because it's like, you've already got me in enough trouble, so no.
Fuck off! Go kill someone else.
Yeah, it's like all have gotten. All of you kids have pissed me off, so leave me alone. And yeah.
Well, man,
Except for Kitty,
she
Kitty's
thinks Mr. North's gonna get paid with some nookie by Harriet too. She's jumping to some conclusions. Money's getting thrown on the ground. Yep.
I felt Mrs. Wells in that moment. She was mad. Sometimes you gotta throw things.
Throw the money on the ground.
A nice noisy bag. That's a good throwing. That's a good chucking satchel. But she's fed up with it. And then Lucy comes around and she's like, I'm just, I'm gonna go turn myself in. The fuck you are, little girl. Get your ass into your room. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're not going anywhere.
Go practice on a cucumber and fuck off.
I know what you think. You're coming from a good place, but guaranteed, you go down there and talk to whoever. Not only are you gonna hang, I'm gonna hang. This is Mrs. Wells. Mrs. Wells is gonna hang, and Charlotte will probably hang just for funsies. They would love to hang all three of them. Just make a lovely example out of them.
The whole house, I think. They said the whole house minus Jacob.
She's like,
it's a
listen
great
to me.
cunning hanging of 1763.
For real. You thought the Salem witch trials were rough. Boy, oh boy.
Oh, did you know that when I talked about ergot poisoning, that's what happened in Salem? Mm-hmm. The wheat got basically poisoned with LSD, which is the primitive, what LSD is made from is ergot, which is a mold that made whole fucking towns go crazy and hallucinate and shit. So you would think that a witch poisoned you if you ate some ergot wheat. It happened in the winter too.
Oh.
It's something that they were just. I don't know if it's proven, but damn, it is a good hypothesis when you look into it. But I can't remember if it's proven or not. Don't want to be stating this fact, but it is definitely a good possibility.
Did you guys watch that movie called The Crucible?
No.
Yes.
Oh man, Sasa, you got to see it. I love that movie. It's so good.
If it's scary, I probably will be like, ah.
It's not. It's not scary. It's about.
That's
First
some
of all, it's
scary
based on
stuff makes
a.
people do. They go, ah.
When I get scared, I just I'm like, I can't. I can't scream. But no, it's based on the Salem witch trials, but it's a play. It was a play by
I know my when I was in high school, they had the play be performed. I just never watched it or whatever. Yeah.
No, it's not scary. It's really good. It's interesting. I think it's pretty. I mean, I wouldn't say like historically accurate, but
Well,
I
let's
think
just say a 12-year-old girl with an imagination is deciding your fate. Basically.
But it's got Winona Ryder and it's got Daniel Day-Lewis, so watch that movie, Mackenzie. I recommend it for you.
What?
It's like my cousin's age trying to depict my oh Jesus. No, never mind. And then Fanny's just obviously not doing her job, and while the rest of them have to. And I think the only person that is not making Mrs. Wells go crazy is Kitty.
I have a prediction. Can I say that
I like Kitty.
Fanny names her baby Heine?
Oh Jesus!
Don't bunch.
Fanny and Heidi. Oh Jesus!
Anyways, yeah, I just fucking killed it with that joke. That was the best joke in the fucking world.
But hold on, let me go back to my notes here.
That's right. Laugh, you assholes.
And
I'm just saying stuff now.
Let's see. Yeah.
Is that everything? Did someone else get syphilis?
No. Basically, we kind of briefly talked about some of this stuff, and it's that when Charlotte obviously is now working with Lydia Quigley, and she's all dressed up in her fancy garb, and Daniel just shows up and she's like, well, I gotta do my job, you gotta do yours, goodbye, kind of thing.
I'd say there's nothing attractive about that cotton candy wig. Not to me anyway.
Powdered
Charlotte,
wig.
I was thinking before this, Charlotte was supposed to be the finest hoe in the whole city. Now, I don't know. She just didn't look right in that. That's a beautiful woman, though, I gotta admit. But
she always looks
I don't know
the
about that
best when
shit.
she just has her regular hair.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's her when she's the most beautiful. Even though it's like short, which is out of place for that time, but yeah, I think she's prettiest when she's just natural.
What are you talking about? She knows Amelia Earhart, see?
Amelia.
I don't know. It's a really bad attempt at a time joke. Yeah. Well, y'all shut the fuck up. I'm tired of this. I'm just sitting here being awful. No one's amused.
The last thing that we can kind of talk about, if you want,
Erin's doing her telemarketing job at the same time. She's on streaming.
Is the whole thing of the confrontation that's between Quigley, Charlotte, and Margaret. We're based, and also at the same time, Emily Lacey shows up, and she's like, because they were talking about Emily Lacey and who told about Emily Lacey and the murders and stuff. And when Emily Lacey shows up, she goes, Mrs. Q, you look like you've seen a ghost, or is that the powder on your face? It's just like,
I'll deal with you in due course, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But
and then obviously Charlotte and that Margaret have the conversation afterwards about basically like how you just left me to fend for myself. I came to try and get your help, and you did nothing and now I'm going to stay here and stay in a place where somebody actually accepts me, and all this stuff. And you can tell that makes Margaret mad, because obviously this is going against her enemies and stuff like that. And I feel like that's going to be a big tension for at least the first couple episodes of season 2, is the fact that obviously Charlotte's under Quigley's roof now again, and that she's going to be involved in that side. And the world, I think, is probably going to go crashing down again around Margaret, because she kind of got off a little bit easy now, but I feel like there's something that's going to happen that's going to make them go spiral into a different direction. But yeah, like it's interesting to see that there's like now the powdered wigs, and we didn't really get much of Kitty this episode. It makes me think that we'll get some more of her next season.
Well, again, the powder wig was invented specifically for syphilis.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically. And that's not a joke. Just have to throw that out there. Go ahead, Erin. Put in your 2 cents. What do you think about syphilis?
Sorry, my phone is tripping out again, and being slow. But about Emily Lacey, is that what we're talking, or Charlotte?
Well, the
Emily
whole
Lacey?
thing, whichever one.
Kind of that scene at the end where they all meet together in Lydia's house, and I loved it. I mean, it was perfect because, I love Mrs. Wells coming in. You can hear her, she's just screaming. She's pissed, She's screaming like a mother. She's just like, Charlotte Wells, like she's gonna whoop her ass. Yeah, and then Mrs. Quigley kind of, she's like, she's under my protection, and then Charlotte she has to kind of betray her mom in a sense, and like kind of you find out later that there's, she's got a plan behind it, but she has to do that, and I'm sure that like ripped her mom's heart out in the moment, especially with everything she's been going through already in that day. She's had a rough day, and then her daughter kind of was the icing on the cake. So and then, well, no, not even the icing on the cake, because the icing on the cake was Emily Lacey coming in the door at the very end. And so that was and Emily Lacey's loving it, because she comes in, she's like, these two bitches, these are like her worst people that her worst nightmares, and they're together in there. She's like, oh, this is perfect. So I mean, it was just kind of a funny scene. But Emily Lacey, she's ready to, like, she's in a power position. She knows that there's people that know that she's being hunted down by Lydia Quigley, like people that are official. So she's going to take advantage of her opportunity. I mean, that's why she went back there in the first place. You wouldn't just go back to your captor unless, you were ready to have the upper hand. And so she did. And then not only that, Charles turned on his mom and, went with her and stayed on Emily's side. So it was just kind of a whole interesting thing. And then Charlotte in the end is just like, what the fuck did I just come into? Like, she's just standing there like, so are you gonna help my friend? Because that's, at least she's like, that's gonna be part of the arrangement. But yeah, she's like, but I don't know, Emily Lacey, she gets her jewels, she gets all her fine things, and then you see her at the very end in the closing scenes where she's got on like a really nice dress and a nice hat. She's in the nice parlor trying to, talk up these higher gentlemen and stuff. So she's using that situation to her advantage. And then Charles is, along with her. He was sitting in the background, so they're going to be working together, and it'll be that will be something to see in season 2 for sure.
Yeah. Johnny, what did you think about the the whole confrontation. And then we have one more scene that what we can talk about, and it's
I don't know. It was good. Y'all covered it pretty good. I don't know
the
if I can
one
say much else about it.
the one scene that I think it's in episode 8 where where Lucy kind of comes into her own and she just with the whacking the
Switch is a punching bag, basically.
yeah the
Let's get it.
punching
Let's
bag.
get it. Nancy will show you the way. Okay, Lucy. Nancy will show you the way. And then we get this big corny ending where she goes in with her mom right before they're about to become superheroes. And it's just really nice and heartwarming. Then it cuts to the credits. But I think this is really good for Lucy to finally take her power back, or find herself. She had to get out all the shit she was holding inside and she didn't know how to deal with. They said at this point she's got some sort of outlet, but I don't think it's completely gone.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? She'll probably be a firecracker coming up.
She'll yeah 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 she'll probably be somebody who's just by the time I guess because it may be like a time jump or something. She may be just fully fledged into her job. I was about to say position, but then that involves
There was
other
kind
thing.
of an interesting thing that we saw, between Charlotte and Lucy, where, I mean, Mrs. Wells was, trying her best to help both of her daughters in this episode, but both of them end up turning to sort of their second mother type figure. Like Lucy turns to Nancy, and then Charlotte turns to Lydia. And even though her thing is like kind of deceptive, that's what she's turning to Lydia for. Like Lydia is a deceitful person, and Charlotte's going to her to deceive her. And Nancy's, teaching Lucy like how to cope with what she's going through because she understands how she feels. This isn't Lucy's cup of tea, but it's what she was born into and it's what she's going to have to do. So she's got to find her niche and how it's going to like work for her and make it a tolerable lifestyle. So it's interesting that like, well, sometimes, a mother gives birth to somebody, but it doesn't necessarily mean that she's like got the most maternal like advice or like I don't know, just investment, unfortunately. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think like it shows because this whole first season arc really shows Lucy kind of coming into her own, and she hits a couple speed bumps or more along the way, but at the end she's ready to go forward and find her keeper, I guess, or be forced to get a keeper in season 2, which we all probably can guess that it's probably going to be Lord Fallon because he's the only main man that we got on this show. So, um, anyway, think I think we kind of covered everything. So when Erin gets back, but Johnny, what you got remaining on your channel before you get your bacchiotomy is
Remaining on my channel. Well, we got Watchmen Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern with Thornish Wench, Phantom Descent, hopefully Top Shelf Fandom, Tech West, maybe John St. Baptiste, and maybe someone else. I don't know. Go check it out. It's a really fun time. It'll be my last one. I got a back surgery coming up January 2nd, so I'll be not really having. There will be no live streams on my channel for a long time. There will be a series coming out. The Chronicles of Fire and Blood is still dropping. The script for the first video has turned into about a 5-video script. So, it's happening. Like, the intro and the red sewing are on Patreon right now if you want to go read it. Just give me some money. But it is in the works. I've got a lot of the visuals done. It's going to be fun doing that with Erin. But yeah, gonna get the surgery in the new year and hopefully get back going for I got a good thing going. Gonna have a channel, a separate channel just for videos when I come back. It's gonna be all videos, nothing but videos. This other channel, House of the Conqueror, will be just live streams. The video channel is gonna be the House of Lore. So to be connected, but it will be just weekly videos of quickies of Ice and Fire, quickies of lore, and shit like that. So it's gonna be really fun. Really looking forward to it. I've had some inspiration, and well, at some point, I gotta start doing something productive. So we'll get that going. Thank you so much for having me on, Sasa. Thank y'all in the chat. And you know what? It was good having you on too, Erin. Even though, you couldn't hear anything we were saying most of the time. And you yell at me behind the scenes and belittle me. Sometimes I feel like I am Quigley's son, but, whatever.
But Erin, what do you got?
Nothing to say to that. Need to be apologizing and groveling. No, I'm just
kidding.
Wait,
Johnny, what did you rate these 2 episodes?
What I rate these 2 episodes? 8.5. Yeah, Cunnies and Cocks.
And we gotta wait.
Otula, I don't know about. So be well, thank you, and take care. ... What does that mean? You think that something crazy is gonna happen, Otula? You're scaring me with those comments.
Oh no.
Now this thing's working. What the heck?
Erin, did you get another telemarketing call?
No, it just dropped me for no apparent reason. But now it's working like a million times better. It's been like crap the whole time. So now
the faceless men keep calling her because she's also fake Arya. So
that's true. They're after me. The way.
Erin, what do you have going on your channel? Do you have anything besides what Johnny's mentioned with Fire and Blood? Like, do you have any videos in the works?
In the works, I don't know. Someday, eventually, we're gonna do this thing that we put in like months of work on, and then so the Queens, and then doing the Fire and Blood stuff, and I've got a couple theory videos that I'm gonna work on that are like Fire and Blood related. So that'll be fun. Hopefully, I can get those up and going in the next few weeks. I've got some good ideas.
Maybe even a wild video. That was wordplay.
Yeah, maybe a wild video. But yeah, and then like some stuff with King Aegon, and I think I was telling you guys I've been working on some King Arthur stuff. So I'm really excited. I'm just trying to figure out, like, that's going to be a whole huge thing. So trying to figure out how to kind of
break it up and
yeah.
Because video creation ain't easy. You got to figure out what you want to say, how you want to say it, how you want to put the clips and the music. It's a whole production.
Yeah, and trying to figure
where
out
you want to
like,
put the Rickroll video at.
Yeah, or like music changes, or like if you want to have a 50-minute long video, or just like a 5-minute long video.
And then afterwards, it's like, do you want to make it as just a regular upload, then a premiere? Yeah, it's just a crazy thing.
It's fun though. It's all fun. It's all.
Don't do a premiere
in the chat. All for you guys, because I love you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I like to hear my own voice, apparently.
Well, we all kind of do, because we're
narcissism much.
Well, we all kind of do in some way, because we like to talk, and we talk for a bunch of people. So
I never have watched any of my videos after I've uploaded them, and I cringe while I'm editing.
It's like,
I hate it.
I do at a certain point, like when I was doing the Megor one, because like you know, if they're shorter, it's not so much because you're not hearing so much of your voice. But when I was doing the Megor video, which is a pretty freaking long one, I was just, by the time I was done, I was like, I'm so tired of hearing my own voice.
Especially
Bob.
too because it's different than how you hear your own voice too, like because of the way the sound
Yeah, I sound a
travels.
lot sexier in my head.
Like, yeah.
But
I made everybody just shut the fuck up.
Crickets.
um, but yes, this, Jesus. Okay, yeah. So next week we should be talking about season 2, episodes 1 and 2. And if you happen to be watching this and you want to join us, because I know Johnny won't be able to be joining us come the new year, so if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to come on and talk about this show. This show, like you see it here, it's not super scripted or anything. We just give our opinions on what we saw and what we liked, what we didn't like. So be sure to
Scream at each other and disagree. That was the best. That's how it's supposed to be.
That was a good argument there.
But I mean, someone got a
unfortunately, Johnny
little
won't.
too personal with it. But other than that,
it's a fun place
You?
to debate. Yeah, we get to debate in fun ways. Speaking of debates, dare debates. I don't know when that's coming back, but it should soon. These last couple weeks have been crazy for me because I've been having finals and final projects and final exams. So, but as of next week, we may plan another one. But with that, we should say thank you to the patrons of the channel: Bobbi Catalano, Catherine Harding, Dark Mother, Katrin C, Nancy T, and the podcastthat.com, that family of podcasts. Like Johnny has been doing, I'm going to be having some changes that'll be implementing at the end of this month into the new year for the channel. So be out on the lookout for that one. And yeah, well, this was fun. Oh, Erin, what did you rate these 2 episodes before we go?
Oh, I would give them, I would say a 9 because they just had so much going on, so much action-packed goodness, and it wasn't a dull moment for any of it. It was all great. So they did a good job, really bringing all those stories together. I'd give it a 9.
And I think 8 and a 8.5 babies and brothels. With that, I think was also shout out to the people in the chat: House of the Conqueror, Otila Angel, Braavosi Broadcast, Peter Griffin, KCC of House Lorebridge. Go check out KCC as well. Like, her channel is so awesome, and she has some great videos. Check her out as well. We had Danny McKay, Rod Dammit, and
yep. As long as KCC never forgets that I made her everything she is, she'll be just fine.
Don't listen to him, Casey. Girl
You
power.
better not listen. You better not. I'm just joking, and don't be getting on me this girl power bullshit. I'm outnumbered here, okay? And I didn't
Don't
do
be messing
anything.
with the broad pod, yo. We don't play.
Man, I
Not a
wouldn't. Look,
motherfucker.
I don't like you. Like, you don't have to use this platform to like tell everybody about your gang status and all that stuff. Okay.
It's an all-female gang of. I don't even know what you would call us.
Yeah, I'm in the
Crazy.
He-Man Woman Haters Club, but you don't hear me repping it. No, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of gangs,
Otila knows.
go check out Geek Folk One and go subscribe to the Geek Folk One YouTube channel where they talk about a bunch of shit.
Bunch of weird shit. I don't know what goes on over there, but there's a guy named Tim, and he asks about the Grail all the time. Grail?
Grail.
And a guy named Steve York is also on that channel. And
What do you mean you have a list, Otila? Look, you guys
they're like
don't.
VIP list.
That's my girl.
Like a
That's
list.
fine.
But a list to get in.
Mm-hmm. No,
or a list to kill, like your Arya Stark.
List. Yeah, it's a kill list.
Jesus.
Oh, that's fine. I'm an assassin in my own right. Come for me.
watch out. You better watch out.
You might not, you might get stabbed.
Stick them with the pointy ends.
Like George Howard.
Oh,
Anyway,
perk up. right.
this season was so fun. I can't wait for next week where we talk about more about this crazy show with the crazy people in the chat. And I'm stealing John's branding, but we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, cunnies and cocks.
Oh, geez.